Everybody, what's going on? It's the lab, March 31st, 2021, and we're here to talk tech with you, and we're trying to do big things. Unfortunately, my man James Hicks is not here today, shall I say, and I got a special guest that's coming in, but before I do all of that, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Corey Sanders. I go by the name of Tallboy, shall I say, content creator, host, and I love talking tech. So we're going to have a little fun today. But before I do all of that, I want to bring in my guy, Mr. All Things YouTube, Mr. Matt Haas. How are you doing, sir?
Hi, Tallboy. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I'm ready to talk tech, baby. I'm in my element today. I know that. I love tech.
And that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Well, the biggest thing is I definitely appreciate you for filling in for James while he's not here, shall we say. Tell people
I have some
all
big
about,
shoes to fill.
Yeah, big shoes. No, I don't think it's big shoes because at the end of the day, you guys both love Apple products, and you guys and you guys are both Ecamm. Am I correct?
Well, I do love Apple products. I love all tech products. I'm down with the PC. I'll go both ways in that respect, and I do use Ecamm. Yes.
So. Okay. All right. Well, so while I start setting everything up, if you don't mind, why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about who you are? Tell them about your shows that you do, and what tech and things you like to do most importantly, or things that you're involved in, shall we say?
Excellent. Well, again, my name's Matt Haas, and I have a YouTube channel called All Things YouTube. It's where I talk about everything new and different on the platform and give you success strategies to make searchable videos people actually watch. Been doing that for a while. I have over 130 live streams under my belt. I stream weekly on Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, and I always have open Q&A plus some topics to go over making your channel successful and running your business properly on the YouTube platform. But I'll tell you what, I follow the world tech news just for fun. I read all of the blogs. I listen to all of the podcasts. And I'm no stranger to tech. I've been involved in tech for a while. I'm a former member of the W3C. That's the World Wide Web Consortium. And you got to be wicked smart to be part of those conversations because they govern things like HTML. Do you know what HTML is? It's the internet, basically. CSS, HTML, the EPUB file format for digital books. It's all governed by the W3C, and they seek very intelligent, thoughtful, problem-solving people from all over the world to make this stuff work, because people take it for granted. Like, you put a web address into a browser and hit return, and then a web page builds. How that web page builds and how it interprets the code, people belabor each line of the technology to make all of this work across all of the computers, across all of the internet. And I was happy to play a small part in that. So I love tech. I love talking about companies. I love figuring out what moves companies are making for success. I love talking about their failures, but the reasons why. Like that's what I really get passionate about. Why did this big company choose to do this one thing to solve this problem? And was it the right move? I just, it could be Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, even Netflix. Netflix is a huge tech company. You wouldn't believe it. All in, baby. I'm all in. So
that's what's up. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
you know it.
We didn't get a chance to talk about what I wanted. I guess the show flow, shall we say? So we're gonna go a little bit with the flow. I'm gonna try and play with our timer, but we'll see how that works.
I have an 8-minute timer on my G-Shock watch. I can fire that sucker up if you want.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll let you fire yours up and we'll fire mine up. But we got a lot of articles today, and I sent you some content, and there was some breaking news that just hit right before we went with Periscope and with LG, which kind of hurt my feelings. So maybe we'll get a chance to talk about that as well as as we're doing the show, shall we say? All right.
Okay, sounds
good.
Right,
so. All right, you had a chance to see the articles. You tell me which article really stood out for you the most, and let me see if I can find it. And let's see.
Got it.
Do you have since you're the guest, I'll let you go first. You tell me what you like.
About Google and the phone company. So it's what
T-Mobile. You talking
some
about?
of those phone carriers are going all in on Google products. Which
look at
I
you
noticed was
trying to be fancy over here. Okay, all right. Well, let's bring that up if you don't mind. Let's see, where did it
T-Mobile
go?
is betting big on Google's Android services, RCS, YouTube TV, Pixel, and more.
Yeah. So let's talk about that real quick, just a little bit. Yeah. So T-Mobile is betting big on Android services, and so who is your phone carrier, if you don't mind? Yeah. Asking.
People doing harm.
I don't think you heard me. I think I did something wrong.
No. You asked who's my phone carrier?
Yeah, who's your phone carrier?
I don't disclose that because if someone knows who my phone carrier is and wants to do me harm, they know exactly who to attack.
Okay.
So I don't disclose that information.
So let me see if I can here. All right. So basically, the way the article reads is, I think this week, announced a huge partnership with the carrier agreeing to showcase a suite of Google services on Android phones sold on the carrier's network. So this is T-Mobile we're talking about. And the list includes supporting Google Android Messages, which is RCS, Rich Communication Systems, if I'm correct. It's an app all on T-Mobile Android phones, dropping T-Mobile's own TV service. That was big news this week for Google's YouTube TV, and showcasing Google One as the default backup service, and expanding support and sales of the Google hardware like the Pixel. So that was all the news with T-Mobile with their partnership, and kind of let's see if we can break that down.
Here's the takeaway. Here's the takeaway on this article, in my opinion, if I could jump in. You want to be the default. If you're a software company, you want your stuff defaulted on hardware. Correct. And that's the big win. And I know it sounds small, it sounds minor, but no, they don't. If they have a solution right there that they can click on, that's going to be their solution in most of the cases. So to be the default app on something is a major win in and of itself. Even though it's really easy to install a different app and use it, you need as few clicks as possible. And so that's the big win. Google is winning with this carrier because their stuff be showcased And YouTube TV is a product they're trying to spin up. It's getting some traction. This is going to be a big boost for YouTube TV. So it's a win. I mean, that's the big day is Google got as all apps on a lot of these different spaces that these apps are serving. And, that's what you want to do as a tech company. You want the default for
So
making that
let me ask you, YouTube TV. So had you heard anything about YouTube saying anything about what they were doing with what's the word I'm using, with their T-Mobile Vision or T-Vision or something like that? Did you hear anything of that nature?
No, but
So they
I know a
so
lot
T
about YouTube TV.
so no so T-Mobile had an actual, how do I word it? They had an actual television service such
Yeah.
as Hulu, or such as what's the other one that I'm thinking of? I can't think of it.
There's a lot of them.
There's but
There's
they were
Showtime
having their
has one,
own where
HBO
you can watch
Max.
TV. You could watch TV with them. I mean, with
Yeah.
their service, but they literally cut it, and that was what the big focus was, or what everyone was talking about, saying, "Hey, hold up, they're gonna compete in the
It doesn't
market."
surprise me. Those services are hard to run. I mean, it's not just an app. You got to have people plugging content in all the time. That's a hard thing to pull off. They're probably glad they dropped that and they can go to Google.
Well, I think they
So,
wanted to compete, but I mean, I think the biggest thing was they
yeah.
partnered with YouTube TV, which now you're basically outsourcing that product, shall we say,
Yeah. That's a
to
smart business move.
you're outsourcing that, shall we say, to YouTube, letting them do it. But the bad thing about all of that is um, they're not discounting, shall we say, the service. So if I'm correct, I'm trying to see if I can find that part in the article where they talk about that. Um, don't beat me up on
Yeah.
this, because I know I was really into the RCS with their messaging, but I'm trying to find where the YouTube TV. Oh, so T-Mobile customers get $10 off. But the biggest news is probably that T-Mobile is winding down its Live Plus, and Live Zone services in favor of YouTube TV.
See, no
T-Mobile
one even
customers
knows
get
what
ten
that
dollars off of
was.
that service.
Those services were very not well known at all.
Well,
I
it
mean,
just came out.
well, I mean, they're smart not to linger on that business plan because there's so many other players. I mean, they're T-Mobile. They're not. They don't have a majority share of users. T-Mobile is what, 20% of mobile users. I mean, it was destined to fail. I'm surprised it even got off the ground.
Well,
You
hold
can't
up.
play in that space.
Well, there was a report saying that T-Mobile has like the largest Android market. So I don't know if it's 20%.
That's phone. People want television on all kinds of devices. To have a mobile carrier make a television play or a service that aggregates a whole bunch of television shows, it doesn't make sense because I'm if I'm not on T-Mobile, then I don't have access to that. Like, why would you limit service to a piece of hardware? I'm surprised it even got off the drawing table. It was stupid of T-Mobile to even try to compete in that space, and it was smart of T-Mobile to drop it and partner with Google with their YouTube TV product because Google owns YouTube. Sometimes I use Google and YouTube interchangeably because it's
Gotcha.
the same company.
Well, Samsung phones on T-Mobile will use Android messages as the default in the future, and every other Android phone T-Mobile sells, Google says the switchover will happen by the end of the year. Google is also providing a small update on its ongoing effort to support secure end-to-end encryption for RCS on Android messages.
Yeah.
Basically, it reiterated that the rollout for beta testers already started, and it will continue throughout 2021. And
I mean, the messaging app is a very brutal space as well. I mean, people use WhatsApp, they use Apple's messages, and it's, I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, they're saying Google and T-Mobile are announcing plans to build a messaging business together. That's a reference to RCS's ability to be used for business chat. But as you can with iMessage or WhatsApp for some businesses, it's one of the things that originally seemed like it might be a big driver for adoption, since there's money to be made on the back end as business pay for the service, but it hasn't reached that potential yet.
Yeah. The big feature is privacy, end-to-end privacy. And WhatsApp can get you part of the way there. There's another messenger service that is completely private on both ends, and it's freaking everybody out. But that's the one people like the most. I can't think of the name of it, but yeah, I think a phone carrier needs to stay in their lane. Like, you can't take over the world of entertainment as a phone carrier. It doesn't make sense. You can't pump your TV shows through a phone subscription. It's not viable, in my opinion. So, but the thing that resonated with me is that Google is on there by default. Google products are on there by default. That's the big win, in my opinion.
I'm trying to get the questions to pop up, or the comments to pop up on the screen. I don't know why it's not. It's probably because I'm streaming or multi-streaming through Restream, and maybe that was one of the reasons why. But one of the comments from Hit the Spot 1006 says, "Don't talk about T-Mobile." Basically, she said he is also giving you a run for your money, and then everyone is saying hello to you, and hi, you said hi to Jaden, the guy. So just kind of wanted to
hi Jaden, hi Sammy, hi Priscilla, hi Hit the Spot 1006.
Yep.
Hello.
All right, so hear about this news here. Amazon union vote. What's the election and Alabama warehouse, what it could mean. Did you hear anything about that?
Yeah, I heard about this. This isn't I don't think there's a lot to say about this because the vote didn't happen yet.
No, it happened Monday.
Going to be historic.
But they're still counting the votes. That's the problem.
That's what I meant. That it's they know the outcome yet. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Most companies can't touch what Amazon is offering. Amazon by default is $15 an hour. Whether or not $15 an hour is mandatory in the state that they're in, because they're in a whole bunch of states. And you get benefits day one. They've got a lot of pluses on their side that other companies can't even touch. And they're getting the screws put to them with a union vote now. And no company is perfect. There's no one can say with a straight face that Amazon is a perfect company to work for. It's brutal work, but if it passes, it passes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. The article says, well, maybe this will get more people to unionize across the country, but it's a wait and see type of thing. So I don't know. This should be a quick article.
For the first time in 7 years, warehouse workers are deciding whether to unionize, which could give them more say in their hours, pay, and working conditions. Union drives rarely make it to a vote in Amazon warehouses, and those that have failed. Now, employees in Alabama have the opportunity to break that pattern and become the first unionized Amazon warehouse workers in the U.S. It was about 6,000 workers in Bessemer, a small industrial ballot since Monday. Well, they actually said they've been casting ballots for more than a month, and the potentially historic outcome could be announced as early as this week. If it succeeds, it could kick off more Amazon warehouse unionization efforts around the country. Now, I did a follow up right before the show, and they were basically saying that um, it may take weeks before they decide um, it before they decide if they're going to unionize. And I think there was a lot of pressure on those workers to say no. So I don't know
Yeah.
what those backroom talks were, shall we say? But
And no one knows. That's I think why we can't really linger on this. Oh, also full disclosure, I own a few shares of Amazon. Just
so how would you
talking
feel
about
if they
tech.
unionize? Let me ask you that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like I said, Amazon has a lot of pluses in their benefits package that they're doing. Um, it seems like other companies, like for example, Walmart employs way more people than Amazon, and there's no unions in Walmart, and they have lower pay, and they have harsh conditions as well. So we'll see.
Basically, they said that the voting. I just lost my point of where I was trying to
Yeah,
say.
they're going to take a while to count it. I mean, we'll if they unionize, they'll unionize.
Well,
And then ideally their working conditions might improve, or they might have a little bit more say. Who knows? Who knows?
so you don't.
Union is this is a tough topic to talk about. It's a very divisive topic as well. People come down hard on both sides of this issue, and it's an individual thing. Do you want to, as an individual, take part of your salary to give it to a union to lobby on your behalf, and then once you're in the union, you've got to do what the union says? I mean, you can't engage management if you're unionized. You've got to go to your union rep, and then your union rep will decide if they want to bring up your cause to management. So there's plus and minuses to being in a union, and it's an individual choice based on your individual situation at your individual company. So I mean, hopefully if they do unionize, it will be better for the worker. But we'll see.
Well, basically, it's just saying that if they do agree to the union, then Amazon is basically going to contest it in court because they're saying that there was mail-in ballots um, as opposed to going
Then,
into the actual voting booth and voting. And about 19 or 20 workers were no longer with the company, so they're going to cry foul that way. And
they
if
could.
they don't unionize, then I think a lot of people, they already said that Amazon has a very high turnover rate. And I don't know
Uh-huh.
if you heard about our story last week where they were saying that the Amazon delivery drivers, they had to sign off saying that they were willing to be monitored in the vehicle. So watch the stop signs, how fast you speed. But they were saying they weren't getting enough time to use the bathroom, so they had to use the bathroom in cups or water bottles. Use the bathroom on the side of the
It's a very
road,
harsh. That's a
and
harsh thing to deal with, for sure.
yeah.
Um, like I said, if the vote goes through, I hope the people that voted for it, it will work out for them. I want the best for everyone. I want the best for people. But this is I mean, the story is the vote happened. We don't know what the result of the vote is yet. We can
Right.
speculate at what Amazon will do if the vote does go through, if they'll cry foul on the 20 people that are no longer there, or voted inappropriately, not in the right venue or whatever. But that's all speculation. And it's all speculation as to what this event will do to other sites throughout the company. Like, will another warehouse in another state do the same thing? We don't know. We don't know. But
Okay. Well, let's move on
it's
to the.
it's historic in the fact that it happened.
We're gonna move on to the
So
next topic.
yeah, let's
This
go to the
one
next
I
one.
did not use in my promo, but I know that this is something that you were really hyped about. I would like to say, James would be proud of me. I'm talking about Apple very early, but Airtags and everything that we know so far. So basically, if you're familiar with the company Tile, Apple is working on a Tile-like Bluetooth tracking device that is designed to be attached to items like keys and wallets for tracking purposes, letting you find them right in the Find My app. So I'm not familiar because I'm not iOS. I would have no idea. But what
Oh
is
yeah,
an
Find My
AirTag?
app.
Go ahead.
Find My app is a cool app. You just it shows you where all your devices are on a map.
Okay. So is that like your tablet or your iPad, or is that like
Anything.
anything?
Any Apple product, yeah.
Okay.
And
So,
it'll show up. So like one time I was walking my dog and a big old dog came running after us and I picked up my small dog and carried her home so the dog couldn't get her. And then I realized my phone was gone. I'm like, oh, it must be in the kitchen. No, phone wasn't anywhere. I went to the Find My app and the pin dropped, a block from my house where the dog came out because it knew it was there. Yeah, that's the Find My app. And it will alarm. Your device will make a sound. Even if you've muted the device, you can make the device make a sound so you can find it. Like if it's downstairs, you can listen for it and you can hear it. It's a cool app. But these things you're gonna be able to slap them on anything, onto keys, onto wallets, and it doesn't have to be an iPad, iPhone, or computer. It can be anything because so they're just really tiny.
okay. So what?
Apple
So
will talk about AirTags at their next conference. They're going to have another event, an Apple event. They're going to talk
right.
about
So
it.
so let me tell people, for the ones who are not familiar what AirTags are, they're a small tracking tile with Bluetooth connectivity that can be used to find lost items, as Matt was just saying. There's several similar products on the market, such as Tile and Adero, but Apple's version will be more deeply integrated with the Apple devices. And how will they work? They have built-in chips that will allow them to connect to an iPhone, relaying the position of the devices that they're attached to. You'll be able to use your iPhone, iPad, and Mac to track the location of the AirTags, much like you do to find missing Apple devices.
Yeah.
Um, so
They're
that's
going to
pretty
be neat.
much
And since they work with Apple products, the idea is, see, when you have a product like this, it only works if many other people have a product like this, because the way the Tile, which is the competing product that's been around forever that I own, Tiles are awesome. They Tiles work on Bluetooth. So if there's another Tile device that gets within Bluetooth range of your device, it will ping the mothership, the Tile mothership. So someone else can detect your Tile, and then it goes up into the system, and then you, as the owner of the Tile, can know where it's at. That's how it works. Apple is going to use more technology than just Bluetooth in theirs, presumably. So theirs are going to be much more accurate. They're going to have an instant user base. Everyone with an AirTag and an iPhone is probably going to be detecting these things and sending the locations up to the mothership. When I say the mothership, the company that owns the Tile or the AirTag. And then bottom line is, it's going to be a much more accurate thing. And since it's not only using Bluetooth, it's using other technology, which again, it's only speculation as to exactly what technology they're using. It'll pinpoint it within a couple inches. So they're thinking you can take your iPhone, and it's somewhere in this room, and you can look through your iPhone, through the camera, and it will augmented reality put a little dot right where it is. Like if it was behind Yoshi and I would take my camera phone and look at Yoshi, Yoshi would have an arrow pointing over Yoshi's head. This is a little stuffed animal. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway,
do it again.
there's going to be
Show them
some
again.
really cool. There's going to be some really cool
Show them
features.
Yoshi one more time. Show them Yoshi one more
And you'll
time.
see Yoshi. Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go. So if you hide it
So
right
there's
behind the
Yoshi.
tail, then it would show it. Is what you're saying.
Back in.
Yeah. So basically, if you hide the tile behind the Yoshi, behind the tail or the back of the yellow
Yeah.
thing or whatever, it would ping it right there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. One feature that could happen is they could have an app that you look through the camera through this app, and it will, in augmented reality, layer over top of the video feed of your camera and tell you exactly.
The question that I was worried about was the security about someone tracking you with the AirTag, and they were basically saying that
Well,
it could be used to stalk or track a person. The Find My app has a feature that lets you know if there's a Bluetooth item near you. You will receive a notification when an unknown item is found and moving with you, so you can make sure no one slips an AirTag or other Find My Bluetooth device in your things to track you.
when it comes to security, Apple is the top dog in the space, because Apple doesn't give a flip. They're for the user. They tell the government to go pound sand when the government says, "Oh, we have a tip on this bad person. Give me all of the Apple goodness of where he was at on the tracking." And Apple says, "No, we're not disclosing anything unless there's a federally mandated court order." So they, and Apple, look what Apple's doing with the latest build of the iPhone OS. They're telling you when an app is using the camera or using the microphone, and they're shutting off. They're making users confirm third-party tracking of apps. And Facebook is all in on third-party tracking of apps, because when you're on the Facebook platform, Facebook can track you. Of course, it's their right. It's their platform. Facebook also tracks you when you're shopping on Target and shopping on other things because of third-party cookies. Well, we're going to make every iPhone user confirm that they want to use third-party cookies. So this paints the picture of how secure Apple is. Now, nothing is bulletproof. There's no such thing as 100% security. But if you're saying, is Apple a good company to trust for security and privacy, the answer is yes, much more than other companies. I think they're at the top because Apple sells hardware and they're not loyal to anyone else. The users and the hardware they sell to the users, that's all they care about. They're not a search engine that wants information about you. They're not any of these other things. They're in a unique position to say privacy matters and security matters. So yes, you could have security issues with AirTags, but I would much rather put my faith in Apple than any other company, even over Tile. And Tile's been in the space a long time. So
Okay,
I don't know.
I love
trust.
that. I love that you feel very strongly about your opinions on Apple, and like I said, it's tomato.
Oh, I've got a lot of bad things about Apple. A full disclosure, I own Apple stock as well. But yeah, there's a lot of bad with Apple as well. There's a lot of bad. As a matter of fact, I sold all of my Apple stock right when Android was starting to take off. I'm like, and there was really no innovations with Apple for the longest time. They got the Intel Max, and they're just sort of puttering along. And and as far as Apple software goes, I don't touch any of it. I don't use iPhoto. I don't use their mail app. I don't use the calendar app. I don't use any app from Apple. Apple's not the best at apps. Google is the best at apps. Google makes products that are amazing. So I have an iPhone. All of my apps are non-Apple apps on that iPhone. Wow. Except for maybe message. Like I'll text message people, which I do.
Something like that.
I'll use that. Not often, but if someone FaceTimes me, I will accept it. But I don't. I would rather use I would rather use Facebook or Zoom or something, whatever. But in general, the apps I use day to day are not branded by my mission critical apps are not branded by Apple. So, but bottom line is, I've got a lot of bad to say about Apple, but I'm telling you, with their M1 chips, and I think they are going to uniquely position themselves to finally break out of Apples have always been, as the computers have always been about 5 to 10% of the market, not even 10. Around 5% of all computers are Apple. They're 95% other things. And it's always been for decades. That's about to change. These M1 and M1X and M2 chips, it's a game changer. No one else can touch that because they've got the whole stack. They control everything. Intel couldn't do it if they wanted to, because you need the software, you need the hardware, you need a whole bunch of players all marching at the same tune to do what Apple is now doing. Anyway, the future of Apple is bright. Finally, it's bright. So then I rebought Apple stock after I sold it all.
Well,
I sold it about 10 years
ago.
Google
and not Apple. Google is making some big upgrades to directions in Google Maps. And so
yes,
by you saying, now I'm a Waze guy, and when I tell you I appreciate
Waze is owned by Google.
Yeah, that's true. I love Waze because we just came back from a trip a couple of weeks ago, and instead of being stuck in traffic, it told us to get off at the next exit. We drove around the traffic, and we didn't. I don't know if it was an accident. I don't know if it was construction. I don't know what was going on, but it saved us hours, shall we say, on our journey.
Mm-hmm.
When we also got to DC, it gave us the speed traps. I had never heard of a speed trap before. I didn't know, it was like speed trap approaching, and all of a sudden I see all these cars slowing down. And then we're still going at normal speed, and it's like, don't get one of those because you don't want that in the mail, So that's a $40 ticket you don't want. So I'm a big fan of Waze, but Google is announcing a bunch of new features planned for Google Maps, including a new tool to help with indoor navigation and suggestions for eco-friendly driving routes. The feature announced isn't rolling all out at once, though they may be available. They aren't available just yet, and it's unclear when some of them will be available to some parts of the world. Let's see if I can pull the article up right here. There we go. One of the biggest announcements is bringing in the live view augmented reality directions to airport, transit stations, and malls. So as you can see on the video right here, they're telling you as you're driving walking in the airport, it's telling you which way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wicked cool. I mean, the maps space it's not easy to develop a map app. Google's been driving around with their Google cars forever, and they've been walking in the interior of buildings with the multi-camera on a pole. They've been doing that for a long time, and they have access to satellite imagery. It's an impressive product. And yes, Waze is better in many respects, but they're kind of pouring the stuff from Waze into Google Maps. People are very connected to their map apps. They're very loyal to their map apps. And Apple has a map product. I don't touch it. It's not as good. It's getting better. It's not as good. And that technology to detect the speed traps, and when there's traffic ahead, it's fascinating how all of that works, because the is on a phone, and the phone knows where you are in space, and the phone knows how fast you're traveling. So if a whole bunch of cars ahead of you have phones and they all go 15 miles slower on a road that's supposed to be going 15 miles faster, the company's going to know about that. And that's how it tells you there's problems ahead. It's not someone typing, hey, there's a problem. It's monitoring the how fast people are going and where they're going that fast on the map. And if they're going on the map where there's a road, it's presumed that you're in a car, and it's presumed you're supposed to go 65 miles an hour. And if everyone's going 40, then it's going to say, hey, there's a problem up ahead, to the traffic to your phone that's back a 2 miles. That's how it knows. It's kind of a fascinating thing that it's aggregating all of this statistical data from other users that are in that universe of app. That's what's cool about maps. And Google's all over it. They're doing it much better. Waze is all over it. What's that?
No, I was saying I wanted you to finish your statement, and I'll pick up the next.
Yeah, I'm just saying that they're very good at integrating these features into the product, because they're very good at sifting through massive amounts of data, a big data set that's always changing. So, yeah.
Now, the augmented reality part, that's the part that I'm really more interested in, like driving. I'm not driving, but being in the mall or being at the airport, and you can't find the store, or you can't find your terminal. It's literally showing you where to go, if that makes sense. That's the
virtual reality is junk. Augmented reality is the actual use case that's valuable, without a doubt. So I love augmented reality.
So what I'm reading here is saying that it's only in limited places such as Chicago, Long Island, Los Angeles, Newark, San Francisco, San Jose, and Seattle. And then Google will launch indoor live view directions and select transit stations, airports, and malls in Tokyo, Zurich in the coming months. However, more cities are on the way.
It's got to start somewhere.
And you know what? The funny thing is, the international market has always been, shall I say, always been more advanced than us. And the biggest thing is, I remember back when I played ball back in the early 2000s, they had the countdown timer of you crossing the street. And now we're just now seeing that here in Atlanta, where that's something that's been around for years. And so now it's like to see the technology in Europe, shall we say, go first. That's cool. But it's almost like, why can't we have or get some of that technology first? I mean, Atlanta, they say, is the world's biggest airport in the world, and or the largest airport, and we don't have any of that technology. Like, why does it? I expect New York, I expect LA, but why is Atlanta not on that list? If that makes sense.
Well, those are good questions, and but yeah, the augmented reality is going to be a whiz bang feature. That's an actual use case that provides actual value. Augmented reality, I'm all in. Have you used Google's Translate service through their app? You can point the app at Cantonese instructions, because I bought this device. It's from China, and the directions were not in English. You can point the camera at that instruction booklet, and it will replace the letters with English letters on the video feed. And it will make the letters the same color as the letters as they appear on the image. So if there's a traffic sign with black text on a yellow background, it will put black English text on a yellow background and layer it. And if you move your camera around like this, the translations are locked. It's really cool. That's augmented reality. And that is an awesome use case where you can look at a sign. You're looking at a sign with blue letters on a light blue background. It'll put the English, the Roman letters on the, and yes, augmented reality and dropping pins as to which way you need to go to get to your terminal when you're using your phone, the video feed of your phone, yes, that is helpful. Putting on a full augmented reality, virtual reality goggle and playing some game, yeah, that's fun. I don't see much actual use case for that. Augmented reality, I'm all in on augmented reality, and I could care less about virtual reality.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
Okay.
that's my
All right.
thoughts.
Now you're gonna have to help me out with this next article because I don't really, I don't get it, and
Oh baby.
I think you know where I'm. I think you know where I'm going with this. But this guy named Elon Musk, owner of Tesla, he's having a field day, and it seems like whatever he says, it pretty much just goes. I mean, it's gold, whatever he says. But Elon Musk plans to sell a song about NFTs as an NFT. So, for the
Right.
ones who do not know, are you familiar with NFTs?
Oh yes.
Okay, so I think it has something to do with Bitcoin. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, but
In
maybe
a
you can break
roundabout
down.
way.
Maybe you can break down what NFTs are first, and
Okay.
then we'll go into the article. So, if you don't mind, can you
Okay.
share with what is an NFT?
Here is the short elevator pitch of what an NFT is. And pay attention because this is mind blowing. The short answer is an NFT is a way to identify a unique virtual asset. And so it puts scarcity into the digital space. Because let's face it, if you have a JPEG, for example, you can infinitely copy that JPEG, and your 10,000th copy is going to be identical to the first one. Well, now the digital space has a valid identifier of a unique asset. So the Mona Lisa, for example, you can buy an exact replica of the Mona Lisa for pennies. But it's not the Mona Lisa. You don't own the Mona Lisa. There's only one Mona Lisa. So, now you can have the Mona Lisa or its equivalent as digital. So that's the long and short of what it is. It's a way to identify the scarcity of an item and attach an owner to it. And all of this is uncontestable because it's on the blockchain. And now we can start getting into a little bit of the tech. So think of it this way. If you have a piece of digital art, you can now auction that piece of digital art to someone, and they will forever be stamped as the owner of that digital art in an unchangeable way. In other words, you can't hack it. If you win the auction and you are declared the winner of some piece of digital art, the whole world can see that you own it, and no one can take it away from you.
So let me
That
ask you a
is
question.
that's the core concept.
So
Go ahead.
you're into woodworking. You're into making things out of wood.
I am.
That is art. Now, if you take
Yes,
a
it
picture
is.
of that, or if upload that to the internet, how does that work? Shall we say, with you saying this is an original piece, someone bet on it, or they auctioned it off, and they were the highest bidder? How does that work for you? Because I'm seeing on the internet a lot of people are whatever these weird pieces are, they're selling for about 100, 200, $300,000, even $1 million. And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
who,
Yeah.
who, I
Well,
mean, I can understand an original album or original mixtape from a musician, shall we say.
yeah.
But now I'm saying for you, how does that work for your woodworking
Well,
project?
it would be I would be selling the digital representation of the object. It wouldn't be the actual physical object because someone can steal that physical object from me. It's possible to break into my house and steal that from me. So we're not talking the physical object, but if I made something in my wood shop and I turned it into a digital asset, I could put that digital asset on the blockchain, which is like putting it on the internet, and then I could put it up for auction, and people could bid on it, and I could accept a winning bidder. I would get the money for that item, and then whoever won the auction would be forever stamped as the owner of that. And then that owner could resell it for a higher price. Bottom line is, think everything you can do with physical objects and the value that's associated with physical objects because they're rare now exists on the blockchain through NFTs. If people are wondering, NFT stands for non-fungible asset. Or non-fungible token. I'm sorry, non-fungible token. And what non-fungible means is if you give me $1 bill and I give you $1 bill, you have a different dollar bill, but it's the same value. So that's a fungible transaction. Dollar bills are fungible because the dollar you have in your pocket is the same value as the dollar I have in my pocket. And we could swap dollar bills. You would be whole and I would be whole. That's fungible. Non-fungible is the Mona Lisa. There's only one Mona Lisa. You can't duplicate the Mona Lisa. So that's what it is. And the way it works is you put it on the blockchain, and the blockchain is the registry of a new internet, for lack of a better word, and cryptocurrency uses the blockchain technology. So cryptocurrency is an output of the blockchain. The blockchain is the bigger thing. Currency is just one item on the blockchain. And the way NFTs work is you could make a smart contract. And a smart contract is essentially an application. And they built into the Ethereum blockchain, because that's where it lives, these NFTs. They built into the Ethereum blockchain your ability to make an application, which is a contract, and you use the programming language of the Ethereum blockchain contract. And if you enter into the contract and I enter into the contract, and we both agree on the rules of the contract, it is unchangeable after you commit the changes. In other words, real contracts. So Tallboy, if we went into business together and we had a signed document, and then I had a problem with you or you had a problem with me, one of our lawyers can say, this sentence right here, well, yes, the sentence is clear, but the intention behind that sentence is contested. And then you would spin up your lawyers, I would spin up my lawyers, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we would just battle it out in court. Because even though we had a clear contract, in real law outside of the blockchain, you could fire up your lawyers and nitpick apart stupid stuff just to waste money. That stuff's not flying on the blockchain because the code is final. You put into these contracts, this contract is linked to this NFT, and this NFT is the first edition of, and the only item. It's scarcity, and then this is the owner of the NFT, and this is the seller. And if you both agree, the money's instantly going to swap, and you can't change. You can't take it back. So what this is doing is it's decentralizing everything. Everything is going to be decentralized. In other words, and nothing can be contested by lawyers and doublespeak and say, well, the spirit behind this contract really means something different than what's written, and then you waste all kinds of money. That's not going to fly. So they're going to decentralize everything. This is going to be the biggest thing since the internet. This is like another internet that's better, that's coming. And what's going to play on this new internet, which is the blockchain, what the blockchain is going to enable is everyone is going to have equal footing. There isn't going to be a 1% class, there isn't going to be a middle class, and there isn't going to be a lower class. everyone is equal because we're all playing by the same rules, and everything is visible on the registry. And everything that's committed to the registry cannot change ever. So, in other words, if say you got in trouble with the law, okay?
Look, I think you got going into it because I'm still lost, and I kind of want to just do one of these.
Okay, well,
it's one of those. It's one of those things where it's just like, I think they got it. Hopefully, they did. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. So
okay, well,
so let's talk. I got I think one or two more articles I want to share, but I mean, if they don't get it by now,
yeah.
I love the fact that you're so passionate about this because I can pick your brain off the mark. I mean, off air with this. But
I'm surprised someone just thought of it. Like, how did someone even think of the concept of it, let alone how they programmed it? It's just, decentralize everything and make digital stuff scarce. That's what it is.
So here's the thing. Elon Musk basically said he's going to create a dance track that is unclear. He has not provided a link to the NFT or any additional context to where it might go on sale. He sent out a tweet, and the unnamed track plays over the visual of a rotating golden trophy. Let me see if I can pull that trophy up, if you don't mind. Let me see if I get that there. So he has a golden trophy that this NFT is supposed to showcase. I don't. There.
World domination.
But that's the golden trophy that's supposed to play with that, and I don't want to play that song because I don't want to get
no. But you would ask yourself, like, why does an art collector buy an art piece? Well, it's whatever that answer is, it's the same answer as to why they would buy an NFT. That's the long and short of it.
So Musk has been a vocal cheerleader for Bitcoin, both on Twitter and through the company Tesla, which he invested about 1.5 billion in the cryptocurrency last month, and has revealed plans to accept Bitcoin as a payment for the vehicles in the future. Like I said, it's just one of those things where trophy, shall we say? I think I lost it. This trophy additionally includes golden dogs, evocative of Shiba Inus, aka the mascot Dogecoin cryptocurrency that gained some traction, I would say, amid GameStop phenomenon earlier this year, which Musk himself tweeted about a number of times. They get this song, and they get it as an original NFT. That makes sense.
Well, they not only get it, they get visibility to the world that they own it, and no one can take it away. No one can take it away unless they sell it. They can enter into another contract, and that person can resell it. It's just like it's the concept of the Brooklyn Bridge. The Brooklyn Bridge has had hundreds of owners. People just buy it to resell it to the next bidder because they know someone else is going to come along and pay more for it. It's kind of a joke. It's in business books. When you take a business course, you learn about how the Brooklyn Bridge just changes hands, and it's just like, okay, I pay X for it. I'm hoping to get X plus 1 from the next guy. It's the same thing with NFTs. So, or it can be. So it's scarcity. It's digital scarcity in a way that the world can see that you own it, and bragging rights that you own it, and an inability for anyone to ever remove it from you. Because once something's committed to the blockchain, you can't take it out.
Gotcha. All right, man. I'm NFT'd out.
Yeah, we can go on the next one.
So I don't know if you saw this or you let it pass by you, shall we say? The Camsoda one, the delivery app that allows or alerts women. Did you see that article that I sent you?
I saw the two articles you sent me.
No. It was in the original one. So, are you married?
I am.
You are married. So this
Yes.
is in no disrespect or anything like that, but you know, if you really wanted to spice up your life or with your wife, or if you got a girlfriend, there's a vibrator out, and the vibrator is by a company called Camsoda. The launch, they announced and launched something called Grub Buzz, a new technology that harnesses the power of internet connected sex toys, uh, aka I don't know how to say that word, but it basically sends clitoral vibrations to people as their takeout food from a national chain or local favorite is being prepared and ultimately delivered. The frequency of vibrations increases through the food delivery process. So, for example, the vibration frequency starts slowly when someone's order is received by the restaurant and progressively increases when the driver leaves the restaurant with the order. Uh, and as the driver gets closer to the residence and arrives at the door, it gets, it gives you that whole little, well, it doesn't give us as men. It doesn't give us that feeling, but maybe this could be like something to spice up, with the missus. Or I have a girlfriend. I'm thinking about maybe seeing how I can get involved with this and just have something.
What
But
will they think of next?
right, but people have been stuck at home for over a year now. You got to come up with something that's fun, man. And we've
Right.
all been accustomed to ordering takeout food from their favorite restaurants. Quarantine cravings are real, and so too is the COVID-19 delivery food boom. So, I mean, since everyone is on Grubhub and they're on DoorDash, why not create something to say, hey, honey or girlfriend, lady friend, let's just spice it up a little. Why not?
Yeah. And they have to answer the door and get the bags of food.
So now they get double pleasure because they get their belly, they get their bellies fed and their bodies stimulated, shall we say?
There you go. I dig it.
Uh,
I dig it.
Is
I
this
mean,
something
hey,
that you could see yourself doing with you and your significant other?
sure, sure.
He's
I
like,
I
sure.
I, I don't turn any of that down. I'm all, yeah. That's fun.
So basically, that's the images of what it would look like. Shout out to Robert Lee, and it's funny that I'm tagging him in this, or I'm just giving him a shout out because he does not have a girlfriend. But maybe if he gets one of these, he might be able to meet a lady friend, and he could try it. You never know. It's a great way. To
Yeah.
at least get to know your young lady friend and grow with her. You just never know. Basically, it's being launched for females only. A male version will debut in the coming months. The launch of Grub Buzz or Grew Buzz follows previously launches by the adult entertainment company with the food delivery industry. Um, Basically, in 2018, they launched a vibrator that ordered for users following an orgasm, starting with a large cheese pizza from Domino's. The offering was made possible with an internet programmable Bluetooth button, similar to the Amazon Dash button, designed to fit in a Love Sense Nora vibrator. Basically, the button had a payment delivery and order information, which was programmed into it at the time of purchase and connected to Domino's through its pizza ordering API, which when a user was done using the vibrator, they pushed a button, which placed a delivery order for a large cheese pizza. So clearly, they built a relationship with some companies, and I think there's an audience for it.
For
I
sure.
think there's an
Yeah.
audience for it. So it's just a
I like
matter of
I like
whether,
innovation. This is innovation.
yeah, I'm all for it. I'm gonna see if James and I in the coming weeks can get somebody from their company to come on board, talk about the product, and just talk about how they were able to incorporate the technology. Because you got to think, the vibrator is one thing, and we laugh because we're talking about sex a little bit. But then on the flip side, you're bringing tech into the adult entertainment world, shall we say? And I mean, uh, sex sells, shall we say? And I mean, people want to eat and people want to have sex, or they want to be pleasured, or to some degree. I mean, this makes sense. I mean, how did you, or what made you want to bring the tech concept, shall we say? I can only imagine, the many the many couples, shall we say? I don't want to say husbands and wives, but the many couples that are just looking for new ways to spice things up, and this
Yeah.
could be it. You get to eat, and the lady gets pleased.
Yeah. It's a cool combo of tech and yeah, I dig it. Well, I hope the company does well. I mean,
Yeah.
I wonder if they're taking venture capital.
It's something I'm willing to invest in. I mean, I think that it has something here. I mean, especially if we're quarantined for another year, I think we're starting to come out of it. But I mean, if we do another year, I think it really may have something.
Could be. We'll keep an eye on that one for sure.
Yeah. All right, so this one, if you are you a Twitter guy?
I lightly dabble in Twitter.
Lightly dabble. So
Twitter has problems.
Twitter has problems. Okay. So basically, if you have not heard the news, Periscope shuts down today.
Yeah.
So
Poor Periscope.
What did I do with the article? I may have to just read this from my phone. So
Well, here's
go ahead.
This what's not in the article is the idea that Periscope could have sold. They could have sold their company, but they didn't. They stood their ground. And you know what happened? Other companies just incorporated the tech. They built the tech themselves and shut them out of business. This is the harsh reality of Silicon Valley. Periscope was awesome, but they wanted to keep their product and they got run over and now they're shutting down. That's what I'm taking out of this is, they got shut down. They had to wait.
Here's the funny thing. I was at South by Southwest back in 2015. And there was a company called Meerkat at the time, and the guy was known as a genius. I forgot the guy's name. So Google Meerkat. And he was walking around. Everyone was saying this is the new thing. Everybody's on Twitter, and you can now stream live from Twitter. And then a week later, after South by South, maybe even while South by Southwest was going on, the second or the third week, Twitter announced Periscope, and it was like, hey, you didn't get permission to use our stuff, so what we're going to do is we're going to basically take your technology, and when we take your technology, we're just going to just incorporate it into ours because it's our platform. You're using our platform. And he basically was an overnight success, and that was it. Now, like you just said, this company has chosen not to partner with other companies, like you said, standing their ground, and now they lose out. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, to sell or not to sell, and there's good and bad behind both of those choices, and you just got to hope you come out on the right side of it. But that meerkat. The meerkat had a better name because you pop like a meerkat pops up out of the ground, and then do you ever see real meerkats? They're cool little creatures. They look like little dogs with that kind of act like people popping up out of the ground, and that was kind of like what the app did. Oh, popping up. Okay, I see you on the app. Anyway, they're
basically
time to shut the doors.
Basically, they said that the usage was declining and the app had been in an unsustainable maintenance mode state for a while, and that Periscope website will remain online with an archive of public broadcasts. Periscope users will still be able to download their data through Twitter, And live streaming became an overnight phenomenon in March 2015, even though people have been doing it before then. I think 2009, 2010 was when live streaming really started, but it took off in 2015. Um, but Meerkat came out first, and Periscope quickly dethroned it because it had the Twitter backing, and basically Facebook pushed live streaming. So I mean, when you're competing with a Facebook, I mean, what do you really do? And now YouTube
Yeah,
is giving it.
micro vlogging is kind of what it was. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's yeah, it's brutal. It's a brutal thing to run a technology company. And being first isn't always the best. Sometimes being first is the best, but it's the audience. The audience is the lifeblood of any social media or any app. If you've got a majority of users, you have the power. And people were leaving Periscope for greener pastures. So once your audience leaves, nothing
yeah,
else really matters. You
yeah,
can still pump venture capital funding into it and keep it afloat, but you got to have the users. Once the users leave, you're toast. And if you get that offer, and you said the offers come when you're doing good. People they don't want to buy you when you're tanking. Not all the time, but it's yeah. Um, I can only imagine the life of a tech CEO and trying to navigate all of these issues. It's got to be nerve-wracking
yeah.
because there's no clear answer. There's never a clear answer,
All
and
right.
everything you do could tank the company.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, when you wake up hot one day, and then the next day it's all over, and then it's like you're you're no longer the hot thing out there. All right, man, we got time for one more article. You tell me which one you want. You want to talk about LG, or do you want to talk about Spotify?
um Clubhouse, yeah, Spotify and Clubhouse. Let's talk. That's interesting because
Okay.
Clubhouse is all the rage now. Up, I hear.
Okay, let's.
um,
Yeah, yeah. So, are you on Clubhouse while I'm looking for this article that
yes,
I? So, what do you
yes.
think of
Matthew
Clubhouse?
999 on
So,
Clubhouse.
so what do you think of Clubhouse? Shall we say?
Well, the reason I like Clubhouse is because it's a new social media platform, and new social media platforms don't yet have time to figure out how to up
Monetize.
well, no, how to push how to elevate content and how to suppress content. Once a platform gets mature, they start to figure out what's good and what's bad, and then it's hard to kind of get going. New platforms, everyone's equal. Everyone has an equal opportunity to reach people. And that's what Clubhouse is now. When you're on Clubhouse, if you're having an interesting talk in your Clubhouse room, they're not going to say, "Oh, that person's new. We're gonna make it harder for people to find that." That's what will ultimately happen. Instagram used to be like that. Do you remember Instagram? You could get natural, you could rise, or organic reach is what they call it. You can have actual organic reach on Instagram when it first was going around because first in, first out. Like it didn't reorder the stream. It was like everyone saw it. And that's the way Clubhouse is now. You can actually reach people very easily. And if you're good, it'll pay off.
Gotcha.
Unlike YouTube, I
So,
mean, all of these mature platforms, it's they've figured out ways to detect if your stuff is good or not and hide the crappy stuff and elevate, which it's an obstacle. This that doesn't have that obstacle. So I like Clubhouse for that. Now,
hold on.
Clubhouse
So,
is an
so,
all
so, because we're not talking about Clubhouse, I want to talk about what Spotify did. I just wanted to get your thoughts
yeah,
on
yeah.
Clubhouse. So, real quickly
Okay.
before we wrap up, Spotify has invested heavily in the pre-recorded podcast content, and now the company is looking to host live audio conversations. The platform announced today that it's acquiring Betty Labs, the company behind the live sports audio app Locker Room. Spotify didn't disclose how much it spent on the purchase, As a result of the acquisition, Locker Room will stay live in the App Store, but will be rebranded with a different name in the future on iOS and eventually Android, with a broader focus on music, culture, and sports content. Spotify says it sees live audio as ideal for creators who want to connect with audiences in real time, whether that's to premiere an album, host a question and answer sessions, or possibly even.
Yeah, it's the live audio part that's different. And
Yeah,
I'm
and I
not
think
too
that's what
impressed.
that's what Clubhouse brings. It gives you live audio
Yeah.
from uh, innovators, influencers, and stuff like that. Is that correct?
But yes, and only live audio. Clubhouse is not a podcast where you can go re-listen to old stuff. It's only live. And
So if you don't, so basically,
all
if you
that
don't catch it,
compelling.
you don't catch it. Is that what you're
You
saying?
don't catch it, you don't catch it. That's exactly right.
So you can get $1 million free advice that's worth $1 million, and if you missed Matt Haas telling you how to make that woodworking, go, basically, if you missed
Yeah.
that session, then you don't get it back.
Yeah. I mean, it's a light touch type of thing for users, and that's major because you don't have to look camera ready, because you can do the same thing in Clubhouse with Zoom, just don't share your live video.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the same thing, but it's not the same thing. You know what I mean? It's just slightly easier to jump on, no matter how you look, and join a conversation and come across them if you get your point across and you have something to say. So
The article is also saying audio content has become widely popular in the tech space as the biggest names in the space look to invest in pre-recorded podcast content as well as live audio. Amazon acquired podcast network Wondery last year, and then Clubhouse and Spaces launched last year. Facebook is even reportedly looking into building a live audio feature as well. Spotify said mostly focused on podcasting, is showing that companies can have access to both worlds. Live audio recording can grow its podcasting catalog and simultaneously promote the streamable music that lives on its app. It doesn't need to
Spotify
limit.
is also doing video. They serve Joe Rogan's video podcast on their platform. So yeah, Spotify is growing into more than just a record label shuffling service. They're getting into video, and now they're getting into this live only voice chat, which is Clubhouse. And Clubhouse does have an appeal, but for me, while I do think it's appealing to jump on a Clubhouse and with your hair up in curlers and you look like a mess and it's easy to do, and that is appealing, the biggest appeal to Clubhouse is they didn't figure out how to ruin it yet with algorithms that suppress content or push content up. Once that happens, it's hard. It's hard to get noticed. And it's easy to get noticed on Clubhouse because they haven't figured out how to ruin it yet. So that's why I like Clubhouse. And who knows? Maybe live audio apps is going to be the thing of the future and what people want. We'll see.
I remember Gary Vaynerchuk. He was saying, you use that anchor. Use those podcasts. And now, like you said, Clubhouse is taking over. Unfortunately, I don't have an Apple device to be able to do it. So that's the unfortunate part. But I hear everyone speak highly on it, and if Spotify does come out with something similar, and they open it up to the Android market, I think that I would definitely explore it. I mean, everybody likes the newness, and it's funny because the kids jump on the new stuff first, and then the adults come streamlining in later, and then the kids say, "Oh, that's whack. You're late. You're old." And it's like Facebook was so 2009, 2007, something like that. Now it's like, oh, we're on TikTok now. So it's either you get with it or you don't. Now the new thing is Clubhouse. but I think more of the business-minded professionals are taking in Clubhouse as opposed to the youth, shall we say? So, well,
That's
Matt,
that's the way it works. Tall boy.
I saw you a couple times with your drink. You took a drink, but I took a couple drinks from mine. Hopefully, you enjoyed yourself over here at the lab.
Oh
I
yeah.
definitely want to say thank you to all the people who came over. What did you have? What was your drink of choice?
Gatorade.
All right,
Got
so you're a
Gatorade.
Gatorade. I'm Minute Maid. So hey, it is what it is. I think they're both Coca-Cola products, if I'm correct. So
Could
hey,
be.
I'm gonna get some type of sponsorship out of this one day. Saying, hey, we're doing the lab, and I got to be refreshed with my Minute Maid, and maybe we can get you to come over here and jump on the Minute Maid bandwagon one day when James returns back. So
Coca-Cola, call us. We'll make a deal.
I think they want me to get more followers or more viewers, but hey, you got to get in. Like what you say, you got to get in the beginning where we're just trying to figure it all out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Buy low, sell high.
any parting words before we get out of here?
Hey, this was a blast. Thanks for having me. I love tech. I'll talk tech all day long. So just keep your eyes on what these big companies are doing and try and figure out why they're doing what they're doing. That's what fascinates me. So tech, I'm all in, baby.
That's what's
Thank
up,
you.
man.
Thank
No,
you, Tallboy.
I enjoyed you. I definitely think that you definitely brought a different swagger. You're like me. You give your opinion, you tell it like it is, and you don't care whether somebody likes it or not. Is your opinion, and that's what it's going to be. And I definitely respect that. I definitely respect that. And as always, every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. We're always, what are we doing? Talking tech right there. Next week, James Hicks will be back. And this week, we had the guest Matt Haas hanging out with us. And on that note, it's the lab, baby. Thank y'all for watching and thank y'all for joining. Thanks so much. See y'all next week.